Hi, this is Tanya with Create Studios, and I'm going to show you how you can make cast of some shells. So I was in Biloxi, Mississippi this weekend, and I picked up some of these shells at one of the local souvenir shops. And so these are some sand dollars, some starfish. These are some acrylic shells already made out of acrylic, so I thought they'd be kind of fun to cast, and just some really unique little shells. And we're going to be using the Amazing Mold Putty to make the molds, and then we're going to cast them. So if you're not familiar with Amazing Mold Putty, it's very easy to create a mold. You just take equal parts of part A and B, and the way I do it is I just roll it up into a ball, and then I just gauge the size to make sure that both my parts are the same equal size. A little too much of A, and then you just blend them together. You want to be careful not to roll it around in your hand too much, because the heat from your hands will actually make the mold start setting up sooner. So I just kind of gently massage them together. And one part is yellow, one part is white, so it's very easy to see if you still have streaks of the other color, which means it's not blended correctly. And so very quickly you can get this blended together. And then what I do is I kind of make it about the size of the object I'm going to cast. So in this case, I'm going to cast this smaller starfish. I also use my finger to kind of blend out the top, just to make sure it's a smooth surface, so when I press the mold in there, when I press the item in there, it's not going to have any creases from the putty itself. Simply press your item in and let it set for 20 minutes. Okay, here's how some of our shapes come out. This is the sand dollar. This is the shell. This is the smaller starfish. And here's some that are still in the mold. So let's take some of these out. Here's our mold. And so here we have a lot of our molds already made, and next we're going to pour. So I'm going to use some of the clear resin, which will take 24 hours to cure, and then I'm going to use some of the white resin, which I'm going to add dye to. So you'll see how both of those end up looking. So now we're going to go ahead and mix up some resin to pour into our molds. There are two types of resin. There is the clear cast, which it's clear when you pour the resin, and this one's going to cast white. Now this one takes only about 5 minutes. This one will take between 12 and 24 hours to completely cure. So a lot of times I use the white resin just because it's a lot quicker, and usually I'm adding color to it anyway. But if you want to be transparent, you would definitely use the clear, or if you just want a little bit of hint of color where you can still see through the item, then go with the clear, but it does take longer. There are, as you see in front, there are some different dyes out there that you can add to the resin. I do recommend using the dye that comes from the same company. They have a lot of different colors. They even have some fluorescents now. And as you can see, the purple one is my favorite because it's used the most, but they do have a lot of different colors you can add. They do mix the same with the white and the clear. Just remember, if you're using the clear resin, you don't need to add as much color to it or as much dye to it to get a stronger color. So with the white, you do have to take into consideration it's got white in it. So if you add just a little red, it's going to be more pink. So think of that. If you need some help, look at a color wheel, and that'll help you gauge how to do the color. Also keep in mind that you can mix the resins, the dyes together to make a different color. So if all you have is blue and yellow, you can mix them together to get green. So we're going to go ahead and mix some today. I'm going to start with the white, and then we'll do a couple of transparent ones as well. So since I'm doing shells, I think I'm going to do some yellow, and I'm not going to use the fluorescent yellow. I'm going to just use the regular yellow. And then I'll probably do some purple as well, just because I really like purple. So you want to mix the dye with part A, and mix the dye in with part A, and then add part B and mix them together. So you don't want to add the dye after you've mixed the two parts together. Works a little bit better if you do it in just part A. So I know I want my sand dollars to be white, so I think I'll wait and do those last. I do like to write the part on the lid because sometimes when I'm picking up, I'm not paying that much attention, and I've accidentally poured two parts of part A before, which did not go very well. So I'm using the little measuring cup that comes with the Amazing casting resin. Couple of drops in here. I will tell you, before you squeeze it real hard to try to get it out, you might want to take like a little stick pin and stick it in here, because I've squeezed it so hard that the first one I got, that I popped the top off and got dye everywhere. So that's one little tip. And it does come out slowly. I do tend to go heavier on the dye on the Amazing casting resin, more so than I do on the Amazing clear cast, because I'm also mixing it in with what's going to be white. Equal parts. So you want to mix it about a minute. And I like the little plastic paper cups because I can kind of make a spout to help me pour. And now we're going to wait 5 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and mix up some of the clear cast. Remember I said the clear cast will take 12 to 24 hours to set up. So we'll have to come back tomorrow and show you how that came out. You don't want to mix the clear too much. You just kind of want to turn it, because you'll get air bubbles in it. So mix these together. It's a nice purple. So this might be a little richer in color than I thought it would be, but that's okay. Make my little point. just got enough resin to cover this. I'm just going to set this aside for it to dry for 24 hours. So now we're just going to let these set up for a while, and we'll come back and pop them out. Hi everybody, well today is day 2, so we're going to look at how the resin came out. So here's our original. And here's what the cast came out. Now this was the clear cast, so this one took the longest to dry. I actually put a little bit dark tinting in this one, so it's not, doesn't have that translucent quality to it, but it does come out looking pretty cool. Now if you notice, this one and this one, they're both kind of have a dusty look to it. If I wanted this real shiny, what I would do is mix up a little bit more clear resin and paint it on with a paintbrush or with a paper towel or something on top of it. You really don't want to use your hands because this does have a chemicals in it that can be dangerous. So you could brush it on a little bit more with a paintbrush and you'll get that shiny quality back. Now for my ones I cast with the casting resin, which are white, these are how they came out. So if you can see right here in the front, the originals, this is the original, and here's the cast. So I added a little yellow to one. So here's my original. I used that little resin piece, and then the shells from that. So they did. So what can you do with these? Well, the ones that take 24 hours to cure, you can take out of the mold at about 8 to 12 hours, depending. And they're still a little pliable. I don't know if you can see this, but I can still kind of bend a little bit of these. So some things that are larger, you can actually kind of bend and contort to fit whatever it is that you want to put it on. So let's say if I want to put it on this bracelet blank, I could glue this on here and curl the edges down. And then see, in something like this, if I let go, it's just going to go right back. So I'd put a rubber band around it and let it set like that to get it to mold to the shape I want. Or if you're putting it around a candle holder or something like that, you might want to get a curved shape. This is how you can do that. Doesn't work so much with the ones that harden in 5 minutes because you don't have enough playtime with them. But what I'm probably going to do with this is I'm going to take a frame that I got at the dollar store, and I'm going to paint the frame, and I'm going to paint the little resin pieces so they're a little more realistic, even though this purple isn't that realistic, but a little bit more. And I'm going to glue them around the edge here. So if you want to see how you can paint the resin to make it a little more realistic or to add some special effects to it, just tune into the next video and I'm going to be showing how to do that. Well, thank you for your time, and visit me at my website at www.tanyaruffin.com for more tips on how to use resin and other craft supplies. I'm really interested in using the resin for home decor purposes because you see so much of it for jewelry. So on a lot of my videos you're going to see on how to use it for home decor. Thank you.